Hello. Oh my God. What the fuck? You can tell it's a work day. I don't know what's going on with my hair. It's been in a ponytail all day at work. And it is just, it is just, hold on. There we go. I don't like that icon. Don't like that icon there. Okay. Hey! Yeah, apologies if I keep touching my hair. It's just okay. I'm about to put it back up in a ponytail where it was. I shouldn't have taken it down. Oh, you know what? I do need a pad and a paper because for those of you that are here right now, I did not prepare a game today, and that's only because I'm gonna be so honest. I don't know if there was like an accident on my way home from work or something, but it's like my normal way home was completely backed up. So not an interesting story. Completely backed up. So I turn around to go another way, also completely backed up. Try and go another way, also completely backed up. So all in all, it took me like an hour to get home when it should take me 15 minutes. And I was really grumpy. So I ate dinner and then now I'm here. So I did not prepare a game because I'm gonna be honest, I was in a bad mood when I got home. And then I ate and then I felt better. But hey, subjective perspective collective. Whoo! Can I just call you SPC? Welcome. Hi, Sammy. Hi, Marielle. Loch Ness. Nice to see you. Oh God, yeah, I gotta stop touching my hair. Okay, it's a hot mess. Welcome, guys. So what that whole story was, it was not just a random story. Um, thank you, Marielle, for kind of getting me back on track, even though you had no idea what I was gonna say. My whole point in saying that was I'm just gonna write down everybody's name who is here, and you all get a point. That was the whole point of that story. It was not just to tell you about me getting grumpy sitting in traffic. So if I look down occasionally, I'm just writing down everybody's name. Try and keep up throughout the stream. So if I forget anybody, just let me know. But everybody gets a point today. And then we'll be back to me making y'all work for the points next live. Okay, cool. Or Dirk is fine. Okay, thanks. Sammy, can I get points because it's 2 a.m.? Oh, honey. You're yeah, I'm like Oprah right now with points. You get a point. You get a point. You get a point. Oh, Maddie is here. Welcome, Maddie. You get a point. Okay. Oh, and Jacqueline, almost missed you. Okay. I see you. It's like I could just take screenshots, but then I feel like that's also going to be cumbersome because I'm just going to have to take a million screenshots. Okay, cool. Okay, welcome. Welcome. Really quickly, let me just share this. I should be in a better habit of sharing this. What a bad stream to miss. Yep. Should be in a better habit of sharing this. This is the Google Doc for Creepy Book Club. It's just for Creepy Book Club. I only share it here just for the people that show up to Creepy Book Club and participate. I added a new, just temporary section in there. Doesn't have a clever name or anything. It just says suggestions for July through December. Oh my God. July through December, guys. So as you think about it this month or like in the next week or two, preferably, because we like to plan our stuff in ahead, whatever you guys want to read for the last half of the year, just go ahead and put it in that Google Doc. Just drop it like right underneath that. You can freely type in there and just leave all the books you want to read with the Creepy Book Club. And yeah, I'll make a poll or something. I don't know what we'll do. Or I'll just choose. I don't really know. We don't have a strict way that we do this. Thank you, Chet. Thank you for your nightmare fuel. Much appreciated. That's going to go right back into my gas tank for wasting so much gas driving around trying to get home at a reasonable time. Big preach, big preach. So yeah, so as you think of stuff, hopefully in the next like 1 to 2 weeks that you guys want to read, just go ahead and drop it in there for me if you would. Or if you think of one at another time and for some reason you can't get into the doc or whatever, you can just shoot me a line anywhere and I'll add it. Nightmare fuel and actual fuel. And actual fuel, yep. Okay, I feel like I've talked enough for about the time that we would normally play a game. So let's get into it. I know Marielle has read Piñata. Because she left a bunch of wonderful notes on the doc. For anyone else who's new to that document I dropped you can leave notes for the current read in there also. That's mostly what it's for. Audiobooks absolutely count. I partially listened to this on audiobook because there was a lot of words and like little like poems and songs and stuff that weren't in English, and it's nice to listen to them in their actual language. So audiobooks absolutely count as reading. Ebooks count as reading, audiobooks count as reading, graphic novels count as reading. I'm a bookseller, so reading is reading. I can't, yeah, I'm not gonna go there. I listen to it a lot in the car, and unfortunately, it was not conducive to me stopping and like taking notes on like how to say certain things. Yeah, because it's take notes. The notes are not required. It's just if you, I guess, if you are a note taker or something like that, when you read, it's there for you to do so. Or you can just like take a peek in there and look and see what other people thought prior to the stream. And I kind of use it to fuel the discussion. That's all. You don't have to put notes in. It's not required. There if you want to use it. Okay. Get a good rest, Sammy. Night. You finished Piñata yesterday, 4 stars. All right. Okay. For anybody that's just hanging out, you're obviously more than welcome to just hang out and listen to the chat. Just a fair warning. Obviously, we'll talk about the ending to the book. So if you're watching this because you haven't read Piñata yet and you want to read it, this is probably not the stream for you because we're going to talk about all the things that happen in the book. So, so maybe come back once you have it finished. If you don't have any intention of reading it, you're still welcome to hang around. Just know that we're going to spoil stuff. As long as you're okay with that. I'm okay with that. Maddie also finished this an hour ago. Perfect. So you guys will, I'm sure, have it fresh in your minds. This month was the end of the semester. Last week was finals. Oh, you're totally okay. Totally okay. Hopefully you did well on your finals. Finals are more important for sure. Yeah, luckily I feel like the sisters' names are pretty easy to pronounce, Luna and Izel. Other names in there, not so easy to pronounce. Yoltzi is pretty easy also. Father Veron, easy. You added books for the rest of the year. I did it right away, so I don't forget. Okay, can't wait to look at them. Um, all right, but for anyone hanging around, a super duper quick summary of Piñata. It's pretty simple. It's a pretty, I feel like, cut and dry possession story almost. Follows Carmen, who is, what's her exact job? She's an architect, I think. That's like exactly her position. Who travels to Mexico because there is it's a church that's being renovated into a hotel. I think. I think that's what they're making it into, right? A hotel or a resort or something. She brings her daughters Luna and Isel with her, and of course, they encounter amongst all the culture there, piñatas, actual piñatas, and kind of like scary old things that they uncover in the church, and it affects Carmen's daughter Luna. And when they travel back to the United States, it follows Luna back, and scary shit happens. It's a possession story, as you can imagine. It's not that complicated, I promise. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Yeah, oh, it was a hotel. Okay. 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 Tourism. Yeah, we got to turn everything into a hotel. So that's kind of the gist. It's like I said, it's kind of a cut and dry possession story. Um, with a twist, I guess. So right off the bat, just to start, what is everybody's like kind of like general thoughts on the book? Like, what did you think? What were your, especially the two of you that just finished it like yesterday? It was a lot more of a slow burn than I thought it was going to be. A lot more of a slow burn than I thought it was going to be. Especially after that prologue, which I know a lot of people have talked about, like in the reviews online for this. Like the prologue, honestly, amazing. The prologue was so scary, so scary. And then the rest of the book is really, really a slow burn. I was surprised. So I'm interested to see what you guys like your initial thoughts were. Definitely slow. Didn't help with your reading slump. Sorry. I didn't know it would be such a slow burn. I feel like it's been a while since I've read something that was as slow. Liked it. Like when you said, it was pretty standard. Yeah, it was a pretty standard possession story. Isn't my favorite thing. Yeah, I'm not super big on possession stories either, to be honest. Yeah. Don't hate them, but not my favorite either. Agreed. The prologue is so good. Like prologue, jaw on the floor. I was so fucking scared of that imagery of the god, or oh my god, like about shit my pants. Like parts of it, I thought Carmen was one of the most boring characters I've ever read. I think it could be made into a great film though. The prologue was all the reviews online, like most people talk about the prologue to this also. The prologue honestly sets the bar so high for the rest of it. And then it takes forever to get back into like any scariness. He like then gets into like laying this groundwork for where they are, which is great. I mean, it was nice to hear these like historical aspects and see how the city that they're in is being affected by, obviously still being affected by colonization and all these things. And then Carmen's thoughts on being there as an architect to like renovate this church into a hotel, and like her struggle with that, and laying a lot of groundwork for things that I don't want to say like go nowhere per se, but it's like from the time it takes them to like get back to the States, like the like I just feel like I don't know. It's like they go back relatively quickly. Like for how long it was taking, I thought they were going to be in Mexico for longer in the book. Um, but it just takes forever for anything to start happening again. Carmen felt a very woman written by man to you. I noticed there wasn't like too many interviews with the author, which I'd like to go and read if I can. Oh my gosh, Brie. There's so many book titles. I love it. That was the first thing I saw. Um, what was I saying? I was reacting to. Oh yes, interviews with the author Leopoldo Gout. Um, and I did drop a quote um in the notes here that in a specific interview he was talking about um the see Maddie typing um about the fact that this is like a largely female cast. There's only like two characters who are men that have like really anything to do mostly with the story. Um, but he said in the interview, I'm just going to go ahead and read it really quick, and I quote, I did it, including the female characters, because that's what he means by it. I included the female characters both in response to current political and social climates at the time, attacks on women's rights, disregard of women's issues, both in the US and Mexico, and to give it a mirror to the patriarchal Christian/Catholic hierarchies that the Aztec gods were paved over with. The deities in the book are specifically female gods, excuse me. It is at its core a book dealing with the history of Mexico and its colonization. The horror of the book is pulled from that real historical horror, a horror which affected and continues to affect women. I chose a predominantly female cast of main characters as a way of communicating that particularly feminine rage. Love to hear your guys' response to that. Although I do agree with the sentiments being said in here about Carmen in particular. Luna and Izel, though, did love them as characters. Absolutely loved them as characters, though, I will say. Then we'll get to I want to point out something Marielle wrote. It's particularly like what Yoltzi thinks about Luna, like why she focuses on her. But I thought that was interesting. And Marielle, you bring up in your notes the femicide like theme. That's kind of I don't want to say it's like has no point in the book. It definitely feels like part of the backdrop for the setting of Mexico. So like while they're there, particularly like in the opening of the book when they're walking through, it's like a marketplace. They're seeing all these posters for missing women and girls, and Yoltzi mentions it a lot too. And I think they kind of like allude that it might have to do with like the darkness, kind of like supernatural darkness going on underneath. But obviously, there, it's maybe a bit more realistic than that. That's all well and good, but what does he know about feminine rage? That's what I was thinking too. Not that men can't write about it, but that almost sounds like he's patting himself on the back for it. Yeah. It's kind of like one of those things, like, I don't know. You just have to have the femme experience to understand what that is. The thing is that, like, when I saw that, I'm like thinking like my thought was like, well, isn't all the feminine rage in the female god that is possessing Luna and wants her revenge? Isn't that thank you. Exactly, Brie. Like, that's where I'm like, I feel like that's where the the rage is. And like Luna, you know, expresses this feminine rage also, but it's like through the vehicle of her being possessed. It's not Luna. I was expecting the all the missing person posters would come back and be explained and discussed more. Yeah, I feel like the only real callback we got to it was it's like Yoltzi has I guess I suppose it's like a vision or something of the old woman who like curses colonizers. I can't remember the exact context of the. Am I going to be able to find it right away? Probably no. I really should mark these passages. And she like it. I mean, it's a notable scene where she like, you know, rips her beating heart out of her chest to like curse these men. Um, but again, it's like I feel like just in the larger possession story, it didn't the feminine rage and the missing women and girls didn't have a lot to do with it. I guess more so in the sense of just bad things happening to women and girls. If I tried to make some sort of connection to like the actual possession story, I guess. Also, why are femicides brought up to say like, oh, Mexico is so dangerous, like the U.S. isn't, and it's Mexican too, so I really don't get it. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think he was trying to put too many themes into it. I think it possibly could have started from a good place, like why he wanted to include it in there, but it ultimately didn't make sense to me to the story. It did like the way it came back towards the end of the book was just like, I don't know, it was just oddly placed. The only other time I can think maybe there's like a callback to it is when I'm never ever going to be able to pronounce his name, but Yoltzi's cousin friend um, who dies unfortunately when they're crossing the border. I'm never going to be able to say his name. I don't know if Marielle, if you can help me out with that one. Um, but he mentions to Yoltzi, like, why, to the effect of, like, why are you going to the United States? Why do you have to cross the border and go to the United States to help this family when there are women and girls here that need help as well? And that was like one of the, I think the like really the only direct callback to like the missing women and girls posters. Um, like if that's your message, then why are the gods getting back at innocent Mexican people? That's another thing too, where it's like like it's like I don't know. I feel like this is like saying something weird about like heritage or something that I don't know, like suggesting that some people like might want to get revenge in a violent way for what happened to their ancestors or something like that, which I feel like is a generalization, definitely at best. I don't know. It's like I don't really know what you were trying to say by choosing the possession victim that he did. He definitely ate more than he could chew. Yeah. Yeah, there's like a lot going on in there that didn't come back around. Yeah, he wanted to discuss too many issues. Like, I don't need this book. I think this book needed a side plot of them crossing the border or police brutality when the priest is shot. Yeah, it was like a lot of a lot of things, and it's like, I don't know, it just all I think part of it is that it just all happened so quickly too. I think that was it for me. For how long he was spending with Carmen and Luna and Izel while they were in Mexico and like laying all this groundwork, he didn't really do the same for the other characters until we're like 2/3 of the way through the book and they need help and they're all coming to the United States to help them. But by then, we're most of the way through the book. So then we're like, okay, we're taking a detour and we're having these chapters from like Yulti's point of view and Father Veron's point of view. Um, only to have like most of them die, except for Yulti on the way over. Or before they get there. Veron is in the United States when it happens. But I don't know if I would have necessarily felt the same way about that if the book had been longer and maybe we had more chapters with these characters like leading up to this point, but it just felt like really quick, like, oh shit, I got to get these characters to the United States somehow. And yeah, very, very bizarre. To say something positive, this really made me want to, one, read more fiction that takes place in Mexico, two, read more Mexican literature. I agree, even though I can't read your comment properly. Apologies. Spirits of the dead, unable to leave their grudges behind, poison the air for the living. I mark these as quotes show that people who want revenge. Mark these as quotes that show people who want revenge as the evil guys. Yeah. That's a really great way of putting it though. That poison the air for the living, like suggesting that it's detrimental. True. But then exactly like you just mentioned, yep, it's a turn the other cheek to the oppressors. Yep. And then there's the fact too that like every goddamn possession story, it has to be a little girl that gets possessed. It always is. It always has to be. And I know, Marielle, you mentioned it in your notes too. I don't know if if you dropped a quote in here, but I have it saved also in the book. Let's see if I can find it really quick. Yeah. Luna was chosen because she's an empty vessel, like a piñata without entrails. I don't know. I just every possession story being focused on a little girl. I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way. And I feel like I know where he was getting with it because Luna is the one that's so between the two daughters at least that's so interested in learning. And I feel like I think it's accurately depicting like the more she learns the history and everything, the angrier she's going to become because the history of pretty much everywhere in the world is just steeped with blood and bad things because of colonization. So that like in that sense it makes sense. But I just can't get past the fact that it's like another possession story about a little girl. You know what I mean? It's like I get it, but at the same time. Red Piñata while listening to a playlist of goth rock, post-punk, cold wave, and dark wave. It was really ooh. Damn. Oh yeah, you should be able to. I don't know if I have to approve it. No, yeah, you're fine. Almost wonder if it'd be more interesting if it was Common. I mean, she was the one who was messing with that. Oh, if it was Carmen. Yeah. That seems more natural too, because like Luna's only crime was like wanting to learn. It's okay. I understood. Yeah, I understood you meant Carmen. Took me a second, but I got there. Um, but that's how it always is, isn't it? Isn't it? It's always some adult messing around, and then the children are the one that get all the bad shit, which I guess is probably accurate for history, also for just talking about. If we're just talking about the way the world is, I guess that's pretty accurate too. I don't know. Carmen could barely muster enough energy to care about her daughters. Maybe position my life in her up a little bit. Yeah, she was quite I mean, like rightfully so, I think, but quite scared of Luna. Um and very easy to chalk it up to like, oh, she's just upset we had to leave Mexico earlier than planned, or oh, maybe this is finally, like she's going through puberty, growing pains, blah 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 blah. Um, yeah, or since the writer's man, how about get a man possessed by the gods? That would be more out of the ordinary. Compared to the possession stories we see in the movies and stuff all the time, that would actually be more out of the ordinary. We're not going to talk about the killer butterflies. There's many things we're going to talk about. Let's talk about the killer butterflies. I think this is the only time I've ever seen butterflies in such a terrifying sense. Oh, excuse me. Buddy, I like the butterflies. It was really cool imagery, I have to say. Yeah, I never would have thought butterflies could be so scary. But I guess like a swarm of bugs in any sense is terrifying. Like let's be real. Um and there is, I think you mentioned it in your notes too, there's other bugs too. There's like crickets, I think, also make an appearance quite a bit, or grasshoppers. Um make an appearance quite a bit too. A bit of bugs, but the butterflies are like the the main baddie bug here, which was just interesting. Yeah, there we go. A swarm of anything. Yeah, that's true. I have to agree with that. I think the imagery was really cool, especially during the scary scenes. Like, even though they were a little bit few and far between after that opening. I really think the opening just set that bar so high that, yeah, to not have the entire book just be like that fucking terrifying. Imagery was really cool. Looked up something and saw that he was influenced by The Exorcist, Hereditary, and The Witch. My God, he didn't quite make it. Can't say the same about the shell skirt wearing skeleton. The only thing about that, though, I will say the imagery that will probably always get me terrified is the idea of something wearing like a human face as a mask. And there's definitely like a repeated imagery of that, of like seeing like eye holes and then seeing the eyes behind that, like it's wearing a mask. That's the only bit of that imagery that will get me like with goosebumps and shaking. That will never not be scary to me. I really love that aspect, like just that specific thing. He's also an artist, director, and producer. I think he's worked with James Patterson on stuff. I think I saw that in a couple of interviews, which is super interesting to me. know if I can see that. Oh, yeah, I can see if I click on it. Oh, yeah, the scene every time they look at the group of men in the restaurant, they change. Yeah, there was some really cool imagery in the book. I think just during the like exposition parts. There's a lot of themes being brought up and they weren't all really coming to fruition, or they didn't end up making their way into like some big collective message of this book here. James Patterson choose more. Yeah, I saw that and I was kind of just like, man. Not that I necessarily hate James Patterson. I work in a bookstore. He has a lot of books. He takes up a lot of space. Okay. And he's got to be different. Just a little side rant here. He's got to be different. Like new books always come out on Tuesdays. That's when new releases comes out. And James Patterson has to be different. And he has his new releases come out on Mondays. I just want to say that. And I love how I just said before, I don't hate James Patterson. I also distinctly remember an interview going viral where he said it's really hard for older white men to make it in book publishing, even though the majority of the bestseller list are straight white men. Like any given week, and James Patterson's books always make it to the top of the bestseller list every time they come out. Okay, that was just like my little side I hate James Patterson rant. And scene. Man spreading even on that, genuinely. And then he's got his teen books and his young reader books too. Okay, now I'm done. Maybe that was I was gonna say maybe that was the problem. Colonization is definitely the problem. Um, but I think there's so many things that come with that theme of colonization. So maybe that was the problem, particularly in including them all in this book. I don't know Leopoldo. I don't know what his thought process was with this, but maybe he just, like as Marielle keeps saying, bit off more than he could chew with this, but maybe the theme of colonization opened up a can of worms where he felt like he had to include all of these things that definitely fall under the umbrella of colonization, because it's literally the root of all evil, let's be honest. Never read him, probably. I've never read a single James Patterson book. And I never will. I just thought that was interesting when I saw that. I'm like, oh, I think he like helped with like some Alex Cross TV show or something. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think I would have had as big of a problem with the way the book was like laid out if it was longer, because we would have had more time to explore these things, and maybe for them to like actually end up making sense into the larger plot of the book. I think it was way too short for how much was in there. Yes, there you go. And it was all about, yeah, like we were focusing so much on the past that like in the present, the present was just for like all the scary stuff. And agreed, didn't like really get how it was affecting modern day Mexico, I guess, except for the femicide. That was like really the only thing that we were seeing like some modern effects, but then as we discussed, that doesn't really go anywhere in the story. Which is unfortunate. Yeah, I think the book should have been longer. I think the book should have been longer. Oh, excuse me. It was a work day. It was a work day. Well, we kind of covered all the I had more, like, little banners here of, like, the themes, but we kinda covered everything. Anything else about this book you guys stand out? We talked a lot about Bree mentioned one, like a positive. Anything we liked about the book? We like the imagery. Maddie mentioned the imagery. Anything we did? Anything else we liked about it? The thing I felt wasn't developed was the church as colonizer. Yeah, I feel like the theme of colonization just has so many facets to it that it's like you need a longer book to talk about it. The character of Father Veron, it felt like they were trying to justify or minimize all the shit that the church did, which is wild given the prologue again. Because the prologue really lays it in like how much the church has to deal with. I mean, it's basically just like intertwined with colonization. But agree. Yeah, the Father Veron character was a little confusing to me. Um, yeah, at least in terms of how he was portrayed. It did feel very sympathetic, but then again, also not going into like I don't know, it's just such a nuanced conversation. Like there's so much to discuss. Again, I just keep going back to like it just wasn't enough book to do all that. Yeah, making the family Mexican American instead of just American. Yeah. There is a lot yeah, there's a lot of horror and thriller movies where it's like white people going in and messing with a culture that they know nothing about and then reaping all of the terrifying rewards that comes with that, like the fuck around and find out. Um yeah. Felt like not all men are not all cops in this case, not all priests. Bombastic side eye. Yeah, I just go back to it wasn't enough book. It wasn't enough book. I wa- we need a horror book that does this. A horror book that shows the cleanup aftermath. Holy shit. Should have released the prologue as a short story. Yeah, make it like a smidge longer. Totally agree. The prologue was too good. The prologue honestly was so incredible. I wonder if he has any short fiction. Maybe that's where his bag is. Just looking really quick. I'm just curious if he has like a book of short fiction, maybe. I'd be interested in reading that to see like, yeah. Hmm. There's some graphic novel stuff, but I'll have to look more into it. Very important info gap. Ah, okay. If there's nothing else that we missed that we want to talk about necessarily, actually, there is. We haven't really talked about Yultzi. I don't know if anybody had any strong feelings about Yultzi. Almost just completely skipped over her character here. Not positive, but to me, it was just trying to discuss how people can lose touch with their culture when they live in America. Interesting and probably coincidental that the prologue about an evil male priest was so well done, but when he made women his main characters, he lost the plot. Yeah. And did anybody have any strong feelings about Yultzi? Kind of our like little like our more supernatural character side to it. I gotta put my hair up. I just keep messing with it. I thought her entrance was very weird and awkward though. Uh for when she's introduced, she's watching the family and let's see. You have it right, Bree. It's just an I instead of E at the end. Uh Probably my favorite character. I would watch a series of her being a supernatural detective. Her introduction is so like awkward and almost comical though. How she's like watching. I don't know. The character introduction was just so random to me. She's just watching the family, and it's like, oh, Luna has this like void of innocence in her, and I think something bad's gonna happen to her. Yultzi was like, Yultzi shows up and is like, let's get the plot moving, okay? I liked her, but like everything in this book could have been fleshed out. Yeah. Would have been interesting to see an entire novel from her perspective. Yeah, that is true. She got a lot of the scary scenes too, since she uh sees things that other people can't see. Okay, just want to make sure we mention Yultzi too, because our last female character here that oh, excuse me if I keep yawning. Ooh. Okay, what did everybody rate this? How about we'll just jump right to that. I forgot what I did. I think I basically just gave everything a 4. Everything is made up and the points don't matter. I'm gonna pull it up. Why? I think I give it a 4. I think that's Schultzy? Schultzy. 3 out of 5. Piñata. Where do I see where I rated it? Oh, I give it a 3.75. Okay, so I did rate a smidgen lower than I normally do. Like 4 is like my average. 4 is like my average pretty much. Schultze. If it ends with a E. You were saying, I see what you were saying. Okay, my bad. Okay, I'll just shut up. 3 out of 5, 3 out of 5. Okay, pretty much everyone was the same. Okay. If it ends with an E, I gotcha. Okay. Well, cool. Okay. We're a bit into May, but in case you missed it, or whatever, have you gave it 1 star. Sorry, don't be sorry. That's what this is for. Why am I holding up this book? That's not the book I was reaching for. This is what we're reading right now for the rest of the month of May. Mothered by Zoya Stage, who I love very much. Love Baby Teeth by her. A little bit into this already and loving it so far. And I do have, hold on really quick. I do have just super quick. In case we forgot what's coming in June, White is for Witching by Helen Oyeyemi. Um, super excited about that one too. Did y'all read anything else in April? I had another bad reading month. Didn't choose anyone else. Oh, but in my head, I saw the priestess Alfonso Herrera. So he gets the role in the film. I love Baby Teeth. Highly, highly recommend Baby Teeth. Mothered is good so far too. But Baby Teeth is fantastic. And she's writing a sequel to it also. I saw that on her TikTok. To Baby Teeth, I mean. She's writing a sequel to Baby Teeth. Yeah, I heard about that on her TikTok. Very exciting stuff. Yeah, I had another bad reading month. So if anybody else read anything, would love to hear about it and live vicariously through you. I think I'm just like an every other month kind of gal because I've read like 3 books so far, technically in May. It's like I have a bad reading month and then a great reading month and then a bad reading month and then a great reading month. I've heard a lot of good things about The Fisherman. It looked like an old white man book. It had its moment where I work, where it's like I couldn't keep it on the shelf. But yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about it. Oh no. Oh no. Have you read The Hunger by Alma Katsu? I love that book. Love The Hunger. I thought that was such an interesting premise for a book. Although maybe not the best to suggest it to you if that gave you a reading slump. I am sorry about that. Actually scared I might not like Alma Katsu because of the reading pace too. I guess I'll see how I feel. You love The Hunger also? Okay, there you go. Marielle, if you're going to read Alma Katsu, read The Hunger. That's my favorite one by her. She is also, I just want to say, like, Alma Katsu is also, like, the sweetest person on, like, social media. No matter how you feel about her books, she's just so sweet. Same with Zoya Stage. Like, they interact so much with people like reading and talking about their books online. I don't know. I just think they're like the sweetest ladies. Just wanted to put that out there. Not that they're watching this or anything, but yeah, I would start with The Hunger and see what you think. And then if you hate it, then just don't tell us, please. Okay, thanks. For a paper, Men, Women, and Chainsaws. I read Men, Women, and Chainsaws in Rape Revenge Films, a critical study. Whoa. It is a classic. That's like that's like one of the like one of the main like horror Bibles. Was that I didn't like the diva. Yeah. I feel like her books can have that slower pace. I just feel like for The Hunger though, the setting, it works. Like it works so well. It's not a setting where it's like it's going to be the snappiest, quickest pace the entire story. I don't know. It worked well for the setting in The Hunger. Because her other book, The Fervor, is also quite slow. And I like, as much as we were griping about like Piñata, I don't mind slower paced books. It's just when I don't know, everything was like smushed together at the end of this one too, like all the like crazy possession stuff that you see. But I feel like The Hunger was really well paced. I think it worked well for the setting. So just to give you a warning, I guess, Marielle, The Hunger is also kind of a slow burn, but I think it's a more worthwhile slow burn. I want to read the Fur Verb, and it is, yeah. Her books just tend to be slower paced. I think that's her jam. Um, I also quite like the Fervor. I still think the Hunger is her best one, though. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, there you go. I feel like that's like that should be the tagline for Creepy Book Club. Creepy Book Club. Not every read can be a banger. It's like the most anti tagline. The problem isn't when books are slow, but rather they feel slow. I see. I breezed through the Hunger because I wanted to see what was going on so bad. Because it's a supernatural take on the Donner Party. So so it's like you already kind of know how it's going to end, but this has a supernatural twist to it, so it's not going to be exactly the same way that the story of the Donner Party ended up. So I think that's what helped move the story along too, is that I kind of knew where we were headed. But I really enjoy it. So if you read it, I would love to hear what you think about it. You give us your thoughts. Well, thank you to Maddie and Bree already for popping in some suggestions. Oh, Marielle, you got yours too. Okay. Well, thank you for adding in suggestions. Okay. Definitely going to go through these. I go back and forth. Sometimes I've just picked from your guys's selections what we read. Other times we've had a vote. I don't know if you guys have a preference. Like, do you prefer to vote, or would you prefer I just kind of like pick them? The only parameters really I look for when I pick is that I just make sure it's available in other countries also. Like at the time we will be reading it, because that's the only thing I look for, really. As long as it's available in most countries that, I know. I look to certain countries because I know where most of my regular Creepy Book Club people are from. Yeah, The Weight of Blood. I want to read that so bad. I just bought a copy of it, so I'm so excited to read it. But that's also the problem with me just picking too, because I saw that and I'm like, oh, if I pick, I'm immediately picking Weight of Blood. Immediately. I'll read anything y'all say, but I'll also vote. This isn't helpful. Love the honesty. Love the honesty. I like this month's book more than last month's. The Honeys is the lowest rated book so far for this year. Wow. Okay, I feel like I will have achieved balance if one of our Creepy Book Club picks makes it into your like top 5 or something at the end of the year. The place where I bought international books closed forever, so officially no. But oh no! As much as I hate it, like the Big A. Is the Big A still an option at least? Maybe? I would figure maybe. I hate saying it, but oh no. That's such a bummer. That's such a bummer. I'm sorry. It's never fun when a bookstore closes. We definitely had an interesting discussion, I will say. Keep that in mind for whenever. Yeah. I can't guarantee I'm going to get extra free books all the time, but we'll definitely keep that in mind. Okay, well, I'll try and pick stuff that's pretty easy to get electronically too, because that might be, that's, maybe not ideal, but, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. The big A cost a fortune with the shipping price. Oh, okay, okay. It's like one of those things that's like, I kinda just assume it's everywhere because that's how it feels. Like, it feels weird to me if you tell me what Amazon doesn't have warehouses in every single country in the world ever. It just feels that way. Okay. Well, I'll try and find something for you, Marielle. Maybe at least if it's easy to read electronically or something. We'll try and pick some easy stuff like that. Um, if you think of anything else in the next like week or two, definitely add it to the doc. And I'll definitely make sure I share this with. I know Des normally shows up, and he couldn't come today. Because I know Des, I'm sure will have some opinions, but yeah. We'll work out a way to help you, Mario. Don't worry. Um, okay. Well, thank you guys for joining in this discussion. I think we should give Des an honorary point. Okay, just since you mentioned it, I'll add his name to the list. Des, the reader. All right, Des gets an honorary point. Um, he does show up to pretty much all of the creepy book club. So excited to talk about Mothered with y'all in roughly a month, minus a couple days since the month has already started. And yeah, I guess I'll let you know what we're gonna do. If we're gonna vote, I'm just gonna pick. I don't know. We'll see. Uh, have a great night /day wherever you are in the world, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.